Friday night at Longhorn Stadium, the Payson football team entertained the 4A Bradshaw Mountain Bears. There was a lot of trash talk before this game, as Payson was again not favored to win the football game. And in the early going, it looked like the Bears would handle the Horns easily. They scored on the first play of the game, a 92-yard run back on kickoff, and quickly it was 7-0. Then, after the Horns' punt was blocked, Bradshaw scored again to make it 14-0 with 7:31 left in the first quarter. It was gut check time for the Longhorns, and they responded. Brandon Alexander took a pitch from Hallinar and took it to the house to make it 14-7 with 2:32 left in the first quarter. Meanwhile, the Longhorns' punishing defense went to work. Bradshaw began to understand they were going to have a bad night. They were held to 157 yards total, only 50 passing, and they were 0 for 9 on third down. They also found out that the Longhorns weren't fired up. This is just the way they play. We hope the Arizona Republic will take notice. The half ended with no further scoring. The Longhorns came out in the second half loaded for bears. Hallinar continued to dissect the defense. After several Longhorn drives stalled out, the Bears tried a 49-yard field goal, which came up short, and the Longhorns got the ball back. They gave the Bears hope as they fumbled deep in their own territory. But Zach Brooks put a stop to any hope as he picked off a short pass. And then, near the end of the third quarter, the play that began the total disassembly of the Bradshaw Mountain team. Nick Goodman, from his own 18-yard line, broke free for a 54-yard romp. Then, after some lost yardage on penalties, the draw play that Brandon Alexander works to perfection as he takes it to the 24. Then a short pass to Shane Keith at the end of the third quarter took it to the 15. As the fourth quarter began, a couple of Nick Alexander runs put the ball on the Bears' 2. Where Ridge Hallinar scored on the keeper. Josh Bruin made the PAT, and the Horns had now come all the way back to tie the score at 14-all. And Bradshaw Mountain was not heard from again. It was all Horns on defense and offense in the fourth quarter. They recovered a Ben Pig fumble, and it took only 4 plays to score from there. The go-ahead score by Hallinar as he willed his way through the defense, avoiding about 5 tackles and dove into the end zone. The defense continued to dominate Bradshaw Mountain, who probably didn't believe what they had seen on film from a couple of the Longhorn games. Bradshaw was a good team, but not good enough. The Payson boys thwarted their every effort in the last 45 minutes of this game. And to put the exclamation point on things, Matt Wilson sacked quarterback Marshall Bailey in the end zone for a safety. The happy Longhorns saluted their great fans after the game, and we went into the locker room to see what was going on there.
They only had 3 minutes of football for them tonight, the first 3 minutes of the game, and then everything else was us.
All game, I was just too slow to sack him. I was hitting him all the game, but finally I got him on the ground with the ball. That felt pretty good.
Oh, man.
This team is unreal.
It's intense, man. The way these guys play, 4 full quarters, we've been talking about it all week. Bradshaw Mountain's an awesome team, but I tell you what, we stuck it to them. They came in here thinking they were on top of us, not in our house. And I tell you what, we had a huge help with the crowd at the end there. They kept backing themselves up on penalties. Big tribute to the crowd, very proud of them and pleased. I tell you what, our defense was unbelievable tonight, unbelievable. And our offense did what it took to win. That's how you're supposed to play some football.
Thanks for the win, boys. You fought hard. Yeah, there's a big
She's smiling.
Yeah.
Riley Jean Anderson. She came on Wednesday morning about 8:15 in the morning, 6 pounds, 14 ounces, and she's just a little doll. She's just a precious little girl. She's such a little peanut, you know, and mom and baby are doing good, and I'm very pleased and very thankful, very excited for little baby Riley to be with us. To start off with a kickoff return to the house, you know, and then within our first, I think, 8 plays, including our kickoff return, we had 5 fumbles within 8 plays, and the punt block, and then 2 plays later there in the end zone off a great fake, and the quarterback came around untouched and scored, and every reason for us to just feel down and out. And I talked to him about it before the game. Hey, if you find yourself down 7 points or 14 points, don't worry about it, stick together. And it happened fast, but you know, they didn't. They just got mad and decided to play. We held them to 153 offensive yards, I think. Their quarterback was the #1 passer in their region. Our defense was just phenomenal again. Very pleased with them. They just couldn't do what they were trying to do, and they tried a bunch of different things and a few different squeaks here and there, but our defense sniffed it out and was all over the place, and our linebackers were running free and making big plays. Dave Carlin had 20 tackles again, and we were handing out awards, and everybody had, you know, such big tackles because we were all getting to the ball, and our defensive line was just playing awesome. Stopping the run up the gut, and Wilson and Burke off the edges were just, you know, you just couldn't touch them. They were throwing people down and making big hits. It was exciting to watch. Brandon had a couple plays early in the game where his kickoff return, he kind of ran up into a guy, and it just didn't seem like Brandon. He's been out for a little while with a knee injury and hasn't been really himself as far as running the ball. He caught a nice screen pass where all he had to do was make one guy miss, which he always does, and he would have been to the house on that play. And he just wasn't quite getting it done, and I kind of got on him and lit a little fire, and I said, you need to make those kids look stupid when they come at you. I mean, that's what you do. You know, and the next chance he had, he did. He put a little razzle-dazzle, a little sidestepping and making people break their ankles, and he was gone to the house, and that was it. That was the play he needed against a 4A team in a big-time game to get himself back. And he did it. He's a big playmaker, and he's capable of doing those things. He needed that play, and I'm very pleased to have him back. Ridge had a big game. He had that, you know, the 1-yard run set up by Nick Alexander for the first touchdown. Made some key passes, and Shane Keith and Tyler Savage and Zach Brooks made some big receptions, some catches that normally you wouldn't see kids make, but they, you know, big plays, you know. And then Ridge finished off the game with that big run. I mean, right when we needed it, I'm watching the play going, oh man, they blitzed right into it. They're right there. And all of a sudden he kept going, and he kept going. And now he squeaked out, and I'm thinking, all right, we're going to be close. And then boom, he breaks another one and dives in. I was like, man. And just sheer tenacity. I mean, he just wasn't going down. It's the epitome of our team. It's the biggest difference. It shows the example of the biggest difference from last year's team to this year's team, the amount of strength and energy we have compared to last year. And Ridge, that was just a perfect example of what everyone else is capable of doing. They call him Peaches. And yeah, Peaches had a great week, and he made a huge catch on a 3rd down. He came in and made some big tackles. He did. He had a great game. You know, we had an unfortunate fumble off a pitch. Bradshaw was just about ready to take advantage of it, and then the quarterback made a terrible read because Zach was in perfect position, but I'm very pleased because we needed it, you know, and they don't make a lot of mistakes, but they made one there, and Zach took advantage of it, and it was a huge play, and it was a big turnaround, right? The score could have been 14 points in their favor again, and instead Zach made that interception, and we went down and scored for a long drive together, and it was the turnaround of the game right there. I just knew we were going to do good things, and I've known it every week, and you know what? We're just going to continue working together and staying together, because teams that play together are teams that win together, and it's not an egotistical thing. They've worked too hard. They've played together so well for so long, and they deserve to be where they're at right now, and they've earned it. This team is special. We're doing things that I've never done before with high school teams and kids, and I don't know, words can't explain it, but I tell you what, I'm very proud of them.